Ladies and gentlemen, live at the Kosher Food and Wine Festival in Yehoshua, Werth, here with Jeff Morgan, and I am Covenant Wines, Red Sea, and a writer who helped develop a lot of people's knowledge over the years, and someone that I think the only way I can put it with reading about you is someone who wanted to challenge it and push the envelope and expand things a little bit, instead of people going, well, it's a good wine, I think it's all right. My understanding is that you went to this man who had access to great grapes and making wine, and you said, I can help make one of the best kosher wines in the world, and that's awesome.
Well, you know, it's really all about grapes. It's if you have access to phenomenal vineyards, the trick is not to screw it up when it gets in the winery. That's it. And more or less, we don't screw it up.
The wine you're holding in your hand, I believe, is the 2012.
Yes, 2012 Red Sea Sauvignon Blanc.
Red Sea Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes.
Last year, I thought it was one of the better wines I tasted at the show. As bizarre as that is, people think, white wine, well, how is that something that sticks out? Well, they can. Tell us a little bit about the wine.
This wine comes from a single vineyard in the Dry Creek Valley, which is in Sonoma County. It's owned by a guy named Alan Nelson, and that's why I put his name on the label. It says Alan Nelson Vineyard. It's a very small vineyard, about 10 acres. We have a certain portion that Alan sells to us. Beautiful Sauvignon Blanc. We bring it into the winery. We ferment it in stainless steel barrels, and we don't add any yeast. None of our wines have any yeast added. It's all natural yeast. We like to say the yeast from Hashem. Then it goes dry. We bottle it, and we bring it here 5 months later. So it's a very quick release, quick turnaround. That's why it's a 2012.
Beautiful citrus. Last year I got more of like the guts of blood oranges. This year's like that white rining, like you get the oil essences, and then like even regular orange. If someone like squeezed it a little bit of a distance from you, very, how should I say, guys? It doesn't have a sweetness, but it has a beautiful fruity.
It's very grapefruit-like, I find. Extremely grapefruit-like. Very citrusy, lemon peel, as I think you kind of implied, and a little bit of that grassiness that comes from Sauvignon Blanc that's picked early. It's not picked really ripe. It's picked on the early side of the harvest.
That grassiness, I call it, it's like fresh.
Yeah,
it's very fresh.
Like fresh mowed grass or hay. No oak at all.
No.
Very, very, very pure expression of the grape. Let's try the Chardonnay.
L'chaim v'bracha.
Yes.
Beautiful soft acid, great citrus. Just gorgeous. Totally different wine than last year, and just as interesting. This is the 2012 Sauvignon Blanc Red Sea. Find it. Jeff Morgan's making some beautiful wines. Now we're moving over to the Chardonnay.
2010
Lavan.
Chardonnay Lavan. Yes. And this is a single vineyard wine, also from Sonoma County, but from the Russian River Valley, a different valley in Sonoma. We don't use any yeast on this either. It's all native yeast fermented, but it's fermented in French oak barrels, so it's totally different from the Sauvignon Blanc. French oak barrels versus stainless steel barrels. Why do we do that? I like a little bit of wood influence on Chardonnay. It's not as bright and fresh as the Sauvignon Blanc. The wood helps frame it nicely as long as you don't use too much, and it gives it a certain sweetness that the Sauvignon Blanc does not have. Very, very different. One is very bright and fresh. This one's a very more lush, and although there's no sugar in it, it has a certain tropical sweetness that comes from ripe grapes and a little bit of that toasty French oak.
I'd almost describe it when I'm smelling it. Imagine butter that's been caramelized a little bit, the sweetness, because it is buttery and it is oaky, but it has almost like a thin little cookie thing to it. That's the only way I can describe it.
That's maybe like the creme brulee that comes from the oak.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah.
Very inviting nose. I'd have to wrestle this away from my wife on some salad dressings or something. It's gorgeous. I'll drink it and she'll make the most awesome salad in the world. L'chaim v'bracha on this is 2010 Lavan Chardonnay.
Yes. So let's try the